match my headpiece. And I ain't trying to take him out, but I will defend this house or take a check. 144 in the black trench on some hitman shit. She called it 47. Praying for Armageddon. Me and my soldiers dressed for the wedding. Fuck the fame. Ass why tell them I'm loyal to the king. Until the righteous grave. Loyal to the king. I walk that straight lane to break the chain.
It's a hang time, son.
I see.
Yeah, son.
I see.
Bring that hot flame, new bitch, they loyal to the king. Until the righteous grave. Loyal to the king. I walk that straight lane to break the chain. Loyal to the king.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be.
Show the game on H-E-Y, V-A-Y. You got Bobby Smith.
You're definitely on your ass. Yeah, buddy, I went through like 330 days sentences for posting shit other people, for sharing the post.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
for
your house shine, my y'all can cross and fall up under that UPK banner. It's my brother and my blood, and I will die and kill for him if necessary.
Then Cap wanted to get your key made too. Fall on his ass. Get you a cup.
What other one? What?
in the state we in right now, black people on drugs, and we suffering and dying. And I know it seems like you can do whatever you want to these people. I know it seems like this, but the time for glorifying yourself is soon at an end.
Damn right, I'm a UPK nigga. Straight out of one west of the test. We the best of the niggas who's living, trying to contend with the stress. Going through the test, no access. Cause you oppressed slaves. Niggas is dying off in waves. Living in dirt, now it's a grave. Niggas crosswalk through the crosswalk or the white chalk over the bodies of roads that you paid. Americans killing us, saying they fearing us, put the drugs in the hood. Now my niggas delirious, put a gun in my face. All because of my race, quick boom flash, for some skippers and murder my ass. Like a sheep to the slaughter, I'm beating harder and harder. Baptized with these words, we never dip them in water. So now we pray to the Father. Give sure that the Father is looking for the marauder. Who's fucking taking my dogs, nigga, it's wartime. Lights up, nigga, showtime. Got the green light on that ass, yeah, joke time. Either boot up, shut up, but get your ass up. Cause we ain't got time to be playing this all fucked up America. Heaven for the thief, hell for the slave. Reaping what you sowed, meaning giving back what you gave for a clean slate. Try to imitate you was always fake. America, every city, state, this is your fate. Whoa, whoa.
The first script I'm gonna need is
to America. Whoa, 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 to America. Whoa, 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 to America.
Luke 6 and 31.
Whoa, whoa, to America. Timeline,
And I'm gonna start with the first article I said.
Church fight. Church fight.
Church fight, yeah, kind of.
That's Luke what?
6:31. Told him to preach, all of you angels bring woe to this beast. You rule for time, but we play for keeps. I pray to my Father, bring woe to this beast. Remember them times we hung on them trees. All of you nations bow down to your knees. Remember them shit, they brought us the fleets. Fuck the Apollo, bring them the heat. Whoa, 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 to America. Whoa, whoa, to America. Whoa, 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 to America. Whoa, 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 to America.
God is going to destroy this empire, man. You about to see famine in this place. You think them fires in California is bad? That's just the beginning of what the Lord is about to do. Because you've been evil to the Lord's people. You've been wicked to the Most High's children, man. You've been destructive to the 12 tribes of Israel. Let me tell you something, black man. You got to put on your strength now, man. Put back on your strength.
One more after this.
Because your day is coming. Your day is coming because the Lord is
Yeah, one more after this.
judgment on this earth.
What is the next food drive date? Is next Friday? Is it next Friday? Is it next Friday or Saturday?
Cult leader. Yeah. We speak the truth, but we a cult leader. Yeah. Well, listen, I'm a cult leader. Yeah. Well, listen, I'm a cult leader. Yeah. They say I'm in the cult. They say a nigga lost, but I done lost it all. Family and all. They didn't get involved. They just wanna ball. Some wanna stall. Back against the wall. We gon' show them all. How we wanna be in land of the slaves. We are not afraid. We are not the same. I done seen death, nigga, looking in the eyes. My higher man told me don't look the ride. Them haters gon' try, but them devils gon' cry. I don't wanna side, nigga. I just wanna ride. I don't wanna hide what I really feel inside. Them devils gonna pay for what they did to mine. Look me in my eyes. I want 7 wives. I want 7 kids. I want them to know that it was no hope, that it was no joke. That is how it goes. I do it with no patience. I mean no hesitation. Come on, Lord, we waiting. Look at what they saying. I can't let it be. I can't turn the cheese for what they did to you and what they did to me. They say I'm in the cult. I guess I'm in too deep. I guess it's really deeper than it really needs to be. Forever it's for West. Forever we the best. You don't wanna test. It's only one West. Cult leader. Yeah. We speak the truth, but we a cult leader. Yeah. Well, bitch, and I'm a cult leader. Yeah. Well, bitch, and I'm a cult leader. Yeah.
Wages of sin, death to your cult leader. You ain't one West, so you don't know scripture. Nah, you ain't in the truth, so we don't know niggas. Look, I had to change my ways, I don't know sinning. Got the name changed, not desire, how would I? How was I ever in the world? I gotta ask myself. Man, a white man, the devil, I ain't imagining. Put this in the hill, but my people can't imagine hell. I'm in the field with black men and Hispanics. Never drop my sword and I don't panic like Muhammad. The church, the house of Satan, niggas won't shine. And you can go against the law, but you won't survive. If I can't have a drink, we get burned alive. Want me and all my enemies to worship Christ. If you ain't UBK, you don't worship Christ. Nah, say you don't worship Christ.
Cult leader. Yeah. We speak the truth, but we a cult leader. Yeah. Well, bitch, and I'm a cult leader. Yeah. Well, bitch, and I'm a cult leader. Yeah.
Shalom, Israel. We are the Isupk. Should be quiet. The Isupk started out at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. We are located at 5261 Delmar Boulevard, St. Louis, Missouri, 63108, Suite A. And since 1969, we've been teaching blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans the truth according to the Bible. Every Sunday at 11 o'clock, from 11 to 1 o'clock, we have Sharpen the Sword Radio, the most controversial radio show here in St. Louis. That's hosted by Captain DeGaulle Gabar. The call-in number for the radio show is 712-832-8330. And the access pin for the radio show is 910-1409. All right, call-in number for the class tonight is 712-832-8330. And the second calling number is 425-436-6260. The participant pin for the class tonight is 825-1636, and the same participant pin for both numbers. All right. Next Friday, on August the 7th,
we will be having another massive food distribution. Salakia.
You see my look, it's only one on there lit up. It's green. You see it? Turn it down. On the right here. It should be the box right here, the smallest box. Yeah, he off scope.
Check. Do it. There we go. Alright, we'll be doing another food distribution this coming Friday, next Friday, August 7th, from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Right here at 5261 Delmar Boulevard, right outside the parking lot. Pull up, we can go ahead and load up your cars. You don't even have to get out. Let's see here. Alright. We got any questions online?
Nah.
Any questions in the class? Alright. Let's hop right into the subject then. Actually, first, we'll start with the subject. Brotherhood is a thing that we, as a people, tend to talk about. We always talk about uniting and standing against our enemy. Even our people in the world, they understand that we need to come together and that we need to, and not just so-called blacks, but all 12 tribes, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We see in the protests out here, they have our Hispanic brothers down there right there with them. I remember this one image of when they went and spray painted CNN. You had a Judite and an Isupk-St.Louis standing up there holding a Mexican flag together. Like,
Right.
our people realize that we belong together and that we need to stand together against our oppressor. But the problem is, what our brothers in the world don't understand and don't realize is that brotherhood is only found in the Isupk.
Damn right.
Outside of here, brotherhood does not exist. We as a people come together, but we still split on our ideology. So what we try to do never fully works. It never comes to the full plan of what we had originally intended. Like for example, the civil rights era. One of the biggest names out of the civil rights era was Martin Luther King. And people nowadays, for some reason they believe he was successful in something. And even himself, towards the end of his life, was quoted by who was that? I believe it was either Sidney Poitier or Harry Belafonte, one of those famous Judite actors from back then, as saying, "I fear I've integrated my people into a burning building," because the problem is we keep going to the other nations to try to get our freedom. And we keep trying to include other people outside of our people into our brotherhood. And that'll never work that way. The Chinese don't do it, the Arabs don't do it, the Edomites don't do it. We the only people who try to be brothers with the people who are putting their foot on our necks. Both figuratively and literally. So we have to understand that we need to come together. And when we come together, we have to treat each other right.
Right.
You go ahead and read me that verse.
Con. Luke chapter 6, verse 31. And as ye would that men should do to you,
Right.
do ye also to them likewise.
Now, why we gotta go here first? Like, this is the golden rule, but it's something that we can't get through our heads. We need to treat our brothers the same way we expect to be treated.
Damn right.
And our problem is we keep modeling our morals off the basis of the Christian church. And there's no brotherhood in the Christian church.
That's right.
The pastor will not do for you what he wants you to do for him. You go ahead and start with that article.
God. Church fight after pastor requests 1,000 from each member.
Now, this is a so-called black pastor of a so-called black church. I don't know any black, so-called black community where you can have your church members each pay you $1,000. Go ahead and read on into that story.
God. When will people wake up to this foolish and stop bankrolling false prophets, fake pastors, and corrupt ministries?
Now, this right here is an article, and this was written by a brother in the world. And even they are getting sick and tired of these Christian pastors robbing us and acting like everything is perfectly fine, and acting like this is the way the Most High wants us to treat each other. And these people can't afford nowhere near none of that. You'll hear that just a minute. Keep going.
New Era Detroit.
New Era Detroit. That's the name of the church. Detroit. You asked 1,000 black people, so-called black people in Detroit for $1,000 each. They don't even have houses. They don't have jobs. I was just watching the what they call it, kind of like a documentary on how the gentrification in Detroit is so easy because of the way when the industries left, a lot of people just started losing their houses. So houses is going for really cheap, but they are not selling them to us. They selling them right to them Edomites. In fact, in the story, it was a woman who lost her house over a $200 bill.
Good night.
She had lived in that house for 15 years. And she was $200 behind on her taxes, and they took her house. These are the people that this man is asking for $1,000 each from. But let's see why they asked for $1,000. Keep going.
Con. New Era Detroit held a protest against Bishop Wayne T. Jackson, a great faith ministry.
No. Read that other part. Right after it says his name.
Con. New Era Detroit held a protest against Bishop Wayne T. Jackson, now apostle.
This man has the nerve to call himself an apostle. The unmitigated gall of some of these people. You call yourself an apostle and you are wringing the poorest of the poor dry?
Right.
That man, he keep going.
At Great Faith Ministries International. There's a video that is now going viral online, details the scuffle that ensued after the protest began.
Now, let's see why he wanted that $1,000 from each member. Keep going.
The mayhem started on the pastor's apostles' birthday celebration.
He was celebrating his birthday. First off, that is unlawful.
Damn right.
And you are the Christian, you call yourself an apostle, and you are charging these people for an unlawful act that you're committing. Like, the nerve of these people to even say that they represent Christ in any way it's infuriating. but they do represent that white Jesus. That's exactly what white Jesus would want to do. Because white Jesus, Caesar Borgia, oh yeah, he was definitely a thief.
Right.
In fact, they ended up running him out of town in his later life because of how much conniving and backstabbing he did. After his daddy, who was the Pope, let's take that in. His daddy was the Pope.
Right.
First off, the popes, they not supposed to have no kids. They ain't not supposed to have no wives. In his day, he had his wife, his 2 sons, and his daughter. His 2 sons were cardinals. That image of white Jesus was a cardinal in the Roman Catholic Church. He is one of the only cardinals to ever walk away and resign from the position. Like, he was too corrupt for the Roman Catholic Church to stand. And this is exactly what you get when you follow him. Keep reading.
A few minutes before the church was to broadcast nationally on television, a man in the audience started protesting in the middle of the aisle as Apostle Jackson took the pulpit.
And you know what? I gotta commend this brother. I really do. That brother, I pray one day he finds the school in Detroit and he gets in there, because that is the right spirit. The right spirit is to reject these preachers, because they do this to us and we fall for it every single time.
All right.
And it's disgusting. We have our people going into the poorhouse because they'd rather give the pastor their last dime and get their lights cut off on their kids so he can go ahead and make sure his Bentley is paid off. Keep reading.
After the pastor requested removal of the man, other people in the audience came up to help him protest. A fight broke out, and the protesters were removed from the church.
That is a beautiful thing. These people were in open revolt because this man tried to run them dry. Let me see. I want you to hop down to the next paragraph and right where it says Bishop Jackson. Because this man, like I said, he's in Detroit. He's a pastor of a church in Detroit. We know his congregation is poor. Ain't no nice part of Detroit, period. These people are in poverty. They're in abject poverty. You look at Detroit in the black neighborhood, it looks worse. I've seen pictures of it compared to Fallujah, Iraq. It looks worse. It looks more bombed out than a place that the United States military invaded. Go ahead and read what he needed that money for.
Bishop Jackson needed an offering of 1,000 or 300 from each member of his congregation when he himself was rich and lived in a large house,
right,
and drove a Rolls Royce.
You thought I was playing when I said it was a Bentley. No, a Bentley is downplaying it.
Right.
The Rolls Royce. He is driving a Rolls Royce, living in a big house in the suburbs, driving to the hood to have his church, and is wringing them dry.
Right.
You go ahead and drop that article. Because this is disgusting. This is not how a man of God actually is. This is the Christian church. And this is where we get our idea of what morals should be.
Right.
Our community looks up to the pastor as someone who's supposed to be beyond reproach, who's supposed to be, you take his word as law because you believe that the Most High sent him. I'm here to tell you that the Most High ain't sent not now one of your Christian pastors. Not one of them. They are all of their father, the devil, because they lie. And
right.
That's all they can do. They get up there and lie to keep you in sin. Why? Because they hate you. They love themselves and hate you. There's no other reason to keep you in sin other than their own hatred of you. All right, got that. Matthew 25 and 40. Because we need to understand what a man of God actually is and how to pick him out. How to recognize them when you see them. Because these are the men that will lead you to brotherhood, that will lead you to unity and peace in your community. Because the Christian church has been in our communities since we've had communities. They've been in our neighborhoods since we had neighborhoods. They've been with us since slavery. And the hood still looks the way the hood does. Go ahead and read that verse.
Matthew chapter 25, verse 40.
Uh-huh.
And the king shall answer and say unto them.
Now, these are the words of Christ, and he's going to tell you something very important here. Go ahead.
Verily I say unto you, insomuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these my brethren.
Now, the least of his brethren, he's talking about the poor. He's talking about the crackhead who's out there strung out on drugs. We don't know why he's out there. That's our brother. He got caught up in this system, and half of them been to war for this country. Half of them came back messed up because they believe in what the preacher told them, because the preacher tells them to love America. The preacher tells them to, if we just fight and hold hands with these people and do what they want us to do, we'll make it one of these days. But our brothers come back strung out. They on the street corners right now, and 43% of all homeless veterans are so-called African American. Another, I believe it was 18%, it was between 18 and 13%, are so-called Hispanic Americans. That means our people make up over 60% of the homeless veterans in this country. And it's because of exactly what these people do to us when we get back. So, and when we over there. So what Christ is saying is, what you do to the least of these, my brother, go ahead.
Ye have done it unto me.
Christ said you did it to me. Now, these Christian pastors do not feel that way about you. They don't take your suffering and your pain to heart. They won't put themselves in your shoes. They want you to keep giving to them, again, because they hate you. And I'm going to prove that. 1 John 4, and we'll start at 20. Because your pastor loves himself, and that's all he loves. That's the only one he loves. And the Most High hates and is disgusted by your pastor. Your pastor, as the officer over here says, is a filthy rat bastard.
That's right.
Straight up and down.
1 John chapter 4, verse 20. If a man say, I love God.
Now, your pastor, the Christian pastors will say that they love God. They're chief servants of God. They are apostles.
Right.
They love God. Go ahead.
And hateth his brother.
And he won't do one single thing for you. Your life's about to get cut off here. You go ahead and make sure that money hit his account. You about to get kicked out your house? All right, well, you know, since you about to lose the house anyway, you might as well go ahead and throw the rest of that rent money you was trying to save up. Go ahead and throw it in the collection plate. If you hate your brother, if you say you love God and you hate your brother, go ahead.
He is a liar.
He is a what?
Liar.
A what?
Liar.
Your pastor is a liar. Period. There is no way around it. He has not shown you any love whatsoever.
Right.
Anybody who will simply take and take and take and take from you and never give anything back, never add anything on, they hate you. Keep reading.
For he that loveth not his brother, whom he hath seen.
He sees his brothers every day. That pastor drove in his Rolls Royce through the hood, right past them crackheads, right past them prostitutes, right past them people who have nothing and are praying every day for a miracle and believing in what he told them to believe. He sees them. Go ahead.
How can he love God, whom he have not seen?
And you don't love them, but you claim to love God and you've never seen God. You hate God's children and you claim to love God. That is a disgusting thing. Keep reading.
And this commandment.
This what?
Commandment.
This is a commandment. Loving your brother is a commandment. Go ahead.
Have we from him that he who loveth God love his brother also.
You have to love your brother to love God. That's you can't go give God a hug. You can't give him a kiss. You can't write him a letter, you know, a little love note, send him a card. Box of chocolates ain't gonna work. Ain't no flowers. The way you show the Most High you love him is by loving your brothers, because that is a commandment. You want to hit to John chapter 13. We'll start at 34. Because this has got to stop. We got to stop lying to ourselves as a people. There's only one way to understand, to learn, and to see brotherhood, and that's by sitting right in here, coming right in here with your brothers.
Damn right.
And joining the Isupk.
That's
because
right.
we the only place that's going to show you love. We the only place that's going to do what is required to show you correct love. Not some show, not some lip service, but actual action. You got that verse?
Fine.
All right, go ahead.
John chapter 13, verse 34. A new commandment I give unto you.
All right, these are the words of Christ. And Christ is giving you a command. They say they love Christ, they love God. You know, they say they do what Christ tells them to do. And they don't do anything that, even the Christians will say, well, we follow the law of Christ. Well, let's see what Christ had to say. Go ahead.
That ye love one another.
That ye what?
Love one another.
You gotta love each other. Your pastor does not show you love. Christianity does not teach you how to love each other. Go ahead.
As I have loved you.
Christ sacrificed it all for us. Your pastor won't sacrifice a hot meal for you.
Right.
Your pastor won't sacrifice a night of sleep for you. Go ahead.
That ye also love one another.
This is how we love one another. This is how we show that we love one another. Keep reading.
By this shall all men know that ye are my disciples.
That ye are whose disciples?
My disciples.
Christ said, this is how you know that you are his disciples. See, to become an apostle, you must first be a disciple.
Damn right.
And to be a disciple, you must love your brothers.
That's right.
That there's no way. These are the words of Christ. Keep reading that one more. Finish reading that.
If ye have loved one to another,
You have to love one another. You can't treat each other the way Christianity has been teaching us to treat each other for almost as long as the white man's been doing it. For about 400 years, Christianity has kept us in this pit. Christianity is just as much of an oppressor as the white man. It's the white man's greatest tool to oppress us. Because, of course, you know, he got his police force that'll kill you and harass you in the street. But Christianity oppresses your mind. It oppresses your spirit. You feel like in the, what's that case? That, the Amber Geiger case. You feel like you have to tell her that you forgive her, that you have to have compassion on her and love her. For what? She showed her hatred for your people. She busted in a man's door and shot him while he was eating cereal in a recliner. And you gonna say, I wish when you get out, we can have a personal relationship.
right,
Yo, what was that, his dad?
right.
His dad and his brother wanted to give her a hug? You murdered my brother, and I'm going to give you a hug. The Christianity teaches us how to love our oppressor and hate our brother. Because there is 0% possibility that if it was a so-called black man, so-called Hispanic man, or so-called Native American man that popped open your brother's door and shot him, that you would be doing anything less than trying to pop open his door and shoot him too. And that's because Christianity has taught us to hold a grudge against our brother.
Right.
And to love the people who keep us down, and the people who keep us down and keep us in this state that we're in. See, Christ said this, by this all men will know that ye are my disciples. This is evidence of who follows Christ. This isn't just me saying that the ISUPK are the only ones that follow Christ. You just have to look at our actions. The Christian church shut down. They went away.
Right.
They didn't want them tithes to go away, so they hurried up and set up them cash apps, so that way you can go ahead and send in your money.
Right.
The ISUPK, we haven't closed the door yet. And like we have brought, like the point we brought up before, right here in St. Louis, the Commander General Yohana kicked it into high gear during the coronavirus. We started doing more food drives. We started giving away more food, more clothes. We help our people when they need our help, and not just when it's convenient for us, and not just for a show for everybody else. We help our people because that is our jobs as priests and prophets of the Most High God.
Damn right. It's a lot.
Go ahead.
Good. Big up to Captain the God boy.
Yeah, right.
Today, we actually delivered. We filled his truck up full of food and delivered it.
Mm-hmm.
We filled my van up with at least 100 bags of damn food and delivered it today.
Damn right.
And, you know,
I just he sent me the numbers. It was 70 bags of food,
Right.
30 boxes of food,
Right.
and 30 gallons of milk.
Damn right. Today. And this lets you know that the priests and prophets of the Isupk always working, man. We ain't never stopped working, man. Even when we tired, even when we going to lunch with your lady friend or any of that, you get that call, man. You gotta drop it and come on and do it.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? She might be pissed off or whatever. Shut your damn mouth.
Right.
You finna handle this.
Yeah, right.
You know? And that's all I had.
And that, see, that right there, that is evidence that we follow Christ.
Damn right.
That is evidence of where we're at and where your church is at, where the Christian church stays at. That is their home is in the gutter. They hate God's people, and they always will, because that is how they were structured to be. Christianity is a white man's religion, period. It is founded by white men. The doctrines are all set up by white men, white men and women. The doctrines are all set up by them, for them. They change images of the Most High and Yahweh to suit them, because Christianity is their religion. It's not meant for you. It's not meant for any so-called black, Hispanic, or Native American. That is the only thing you will find in Christianity is destruction. That's where it leads in every case. Speaking of which, let me go into that. The next article, the one where you refute to it. You got it? Because the Christian church and the so-called black leadership in this country, and if you notice, you know, all the so-called black leaders call themselves reverends and ministers. What was it, Reverend Al Sharpton, Reverend Jesse Jackson? They all are so-called reverends. They show that they are Christian preachers, and these are who have been set out in front of us as leaders, and they hate you too.
That's right.
Al Sharpton don't show up unless he gets a check. Messy Jesse ain't showing. Well, Messy Jesse, you need to sit down and stay home. But these people only are in it for a profit and to get their face and their name out there as a leader. The officer brought out, you know, what the captain did earlier. What the captain did earlier today. Like, the captain didn't advertise that. He didn't. There was no, hey, look at how great. He went and took care of the people, because that is his job and that is his duty as a priest and prophet of God. You got it?
Fine.
Go ahead.
Reverend Strickland refutes inappropriate relationship allegations in police report.
Now, it's so-called Reverend Strickland. First off, what the hell kind of name is Strickland for a black man? What in the world do you think? This man is not only a pastor, he's also the head of their chapter, of the president of their chapter of the NAACP.
Good, nice.
Let's see here. It started where it says the former Kalamazoo Valley. There we go.
The former Kalamazoo Valley Community College basketball player accused Strickland, pastor of Second Baptist Church, of paying Max car loan. Police records show Strickland tried to claim the car from police a month after Mac died.
Now, this young man, I'm definitely not saying he's right, but the problem is this pastor had a linchpin in it. This young man named Donovan Lewis, he killed his girlfriend. Now, why did he kill his girlfriend? Because his girlfriend, Anaya Mack, was getting a little too close with the pastor. And he always was like, well, it's church business, and he gave him the leeway because it's a pastor. He not doing nothing with the pastor. I mean, she not doing nothing with the pastor. But as I said, the records show he is paying for her car. Now, I've never paid for anybody's car who I ain't having a bid. That's just, I'm not paying off your car loan.
Right.
This man had good suspicion that maybe his girl was stepping out with the pastor. And he took it out on her, and he took it out the wrong way. But this is what happens when you start to trust a pastor. Because had it been any other man, he might have stopped it before it got too close, before it got too far down the road. But he trusted and he believed in the pastor because he believed the pastor was beyond reproach. The pastor, the head of the NAACP, was a man of good moral character, and he found out the hard way that he was not. Keep reading.
Strickland said in text message that the Second Baptist Church has helped more than 30 families with transportation barriers, and Mac was no different.
Now, he said that they helped the people with the transportation, but that's not this one. It was in another one. In another article, it was her car's loan. It was the car she was driving, but it was in his name, which is why he tried to claim it which is why he was able to claim it from the police when he got there. So you said you might have helped people. You put the car in your name and you're paying the loan. You bought that car.
Right.
You bought that car and gave it to her. The only person I bought a car for ever is my rig.
Damn right.
The only person who my name is on their car is my rig. Period. Point blank. My name ain't on your car. I'm sorry. It's just not happening. But maybe this pastor was misunderstood. Grab that next article in the same email. Maybe this pastor might have just been misunderstood. You got it? Because he said he's helped multiple people and he's very well known. And see, he got off on his reputation. He got off on his communal ties. They believed he was a good man because people in the community kept saying he's a great man. He has great moral character. You got that one? Go ahead.
Kalamazoo pastor accused of paying teens for sex.
Not only is he sleeping with a young man's woman, he's also paying teens for sex. Go ahead.
A well-known West Michigan pastor and his wife.
And his who?
His wife.
So it wasn't just him. Go ahead.
Are facing accusations involving sex, money, and teenagers. Reverend Strickland.
Skip to the next paragraph. That just tells background on them.
Okay. After a 4-month investigation.
4 months. So this isn't just somebody accused him and it could be unfounded. They took their, now mind you, this man, like I said, he's a high profile person in their community. Any charges brought against somebody that high profile, a well-known pastor and the head of the NAACP, they are investigated thoroughly before you bring forth charges. So after a 4-month investigation by the Michigan State Police, not just the local police, this is the state that is doing this investigation. Go ahead.
Several sources confirmed to Target 8 that detectives found Strickland had paid teenagers to engage in sexual acts at his family home on Prairie Avenue in Kalamazoo.
Again, your Christian pastor is a dirty rat bastard.
Damn right.
Period. These are the examples and the leaders they set in front of our people. This is why we need our people out of the Christian church. Christianity is death to us. That
right.
is all it's ever been. They have not changed their end goal. They just changed their tactic. Before they held up the cross and said, bow down or we will kill you. And now you bow down willingly and they still killing you. Because the only reason they gave you Christianity was for your death.
That's right.
It's plain and simple, and that's exactly what it is. Because these are not men of God. John chapter 15, and we'll start at 12. Because we have to understand who the men of God are and what they actually teach. Because these people are not teaching you right. They're not showing you the love of God. They're not showing you how to be. Because if they were, our communities wouldn't look this way, wouldn't be this way.
That's right.
The Christian pastor, even with people in gangs, they still get some respect. You don't necessarily mess with the pastor. You know, he cool. Why? Because the pastor ain't gonna say nothing to you for real. As long as you drop a couple bucks off in the plate, you get a pass with pastor. He don't care where that money came from. He just need his money. You go ahead and read that.
John chapter 15, verse 12. This is my commandment.
This is Christ again saying this is his commandment. Go ahead.
That ye love one another.
Right.
As I have loved you.
Go ahead. 13.
Greater love have no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friend.
Now, to be an actual Christian is to be a follower of Christ. That's what we have to separate being a Christian and being in Christianity. Christianity is a religion made up of mixing a bunch of different pagan beliefs together and hiding them with the Bible. That's all it is. They paint a different face on it, but it's all pagan beliefs. To be an actual Christian is just a follower of Christ. It's like, and we see these men would not and could not follow Christ. They don't have the balls to follow Christ. They are cowards. They are afraid. They need their money to help shelter and protect them. They get their money, and then the first thing they do is they go move to the neighborhoods where the people they truly love live. They move to the oppressor's community. They don't want to be by you. They don't want to be around you. They don't want to help you. They don't want to serve you. They want you to give them money so they can get away from you. But Yahushua says that a greater love has no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friend. Keep reading.
Ye are my friends, if ye do whatsoever I command you.
See, Christ said, ye are my friends if you do whatsoever I command you. If you do whatsoever I command you. These people do not follow, and do not listen to the commandments of Christ. Christ tells you to follow the laws of the Most High. Christ tells you to love your brother, and if you are wealthy, to give up your wealth for your brothers. These pastors hate Christ. That's all there is to it. They hate him. Mark 12, verse 30. Let's start at 30. Because Christ said that if you follow my commandments, then you are my friend. You can't be a friend of Christ. You can't be, as the Christian song says, a friend of God if you do not follow the commandments. And let's see what Christ said his commandments were. Go ahead.
Mark chapter 12, verse 30. But thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind, and with all thy strength.
This right here is something a pastor can never do. You have to love the Most High. This is Christ is telling you when they ask Christ, what is the greatest commandment? And he says that these are the two greatest commandments. Because he couldn't he couldn't separate one from the other. And these two commandments cover every other commandment. Every other commandment is really just these two in further detail. So the first one is that you love the Most High. You love what the Most High, you love the Most High, and you love what the Most High has told you to do. Because that is how you love him. You love him by following his directions.
That's right.
You can tell your parent that you love them all day and all night, but if you don't listen to a word they say, do you really love your parents? And Christians are so quick to call God the Father. I got a personal relationship with him. Okay, if that's what you say, but in your personal relationship, you disrespect him to his face every day.
Right.
You don't do nothing he say, and whenever anyone tells you what he said, it's, oh, well, I mean, I ain't got to do it. Or like, what's his name? Lil Boosie said. Was it Lil? Yeah, it was Lil Boosie. F God. I'm going to eat my pork.
Right.
That man
50,000.
said, F God. Because he going to eat his pork. Pork means more to some of our people than pleasing God.
Right.
It's that's disgusting. Like, pork ain't even that good. Like, I vaguely remember it from like a decade ago, the last time I had any, but it's not that good. There's so much better options.
Right.
Like, turkey ham goes hard.
Right.
Beef bacon, bruh. You get you some beef bacon. That's nice little thin cut smoked brisket. Okay. Like, I don't understand being so hung up on pork. Like, we act like if you take pork from us, you are taking our very souls. Like, we are willing to give away everything for pig.
Right.
The nastiest, like, and the Most High's rules and laws are for your good. Right. If, again, I'm going to use a parent analogy because I'm a parent and I've had to do this multiple times. You see your kids walking around and you're like, don't eat that off the floor. Don't eat that out. Don't go in the trash can and try to. Don't eat out the trash can. Like, I know that orange still looks good, but don't eat out the trash can. That's what the Most High is telling us. A pig is a dumpster. They eat everything, and the Most High has a way to distinguish the animals we can eat and the ones we can't, because the ones we can eat chew up the cud. What does that mean? They re-chew their food. Their food goes through multiple chambers in their stomach, and they regurgitate it into their mouth, and they re-chew it. Why? It gives their body enough time to process the food all the way down. What happens with a pig is their bodies are like ours, where they eat it and it goes in, and they chew it one time, it goes in their stomach. It's usually not fully processed, which is why you can find rocks in pigs' intestines.
Right.
You can find whole sticks in pigs' intestines. And when they butcher pigs, most times they have to make small cuts in their skin to leach out the pus that's been building up inside their skin, because they cannot get it out of their system any other way. Just like you would get a bump with pus in it. Well, a pig's get much larger. The Most High does not want us eating that food. That is disgusting.
That's right.
It is a garbage can. It was not made for food. But our people just will not get away from it. And their Christian pastor keeps telling them it's okay. I actually had a discussion on one of the slaves I used to have with a man that was a pastor. And he was like, oh yeah, I am a pork eating pastor. I eat everything but the what did he say? I eat everything but pig's feet and pig ears. I'm like, you eat the face? I will eat a snoot in a second. Like, bro.
Good night.
And you are the one teaching people what God says? You're a liar.
That's right.
And I usually don't go all the way there, but he was telling that to too many of my people at one time, and I couldn't let him get away with it. Like, we had to have a discussion right there, because that is, and he had to admit at the end, well, yeah, it's against God, but I'ma still do it. All right, cool. Let's not play, because he did the same thing every other pastor do, try to pull the rise, Peter, kill and eat. After we had a 2-second conversation about that, he's like, yeah, well, okay, yeah, I know he was talking about people and not food. Then why did you say that when we're talking about eating pork? You know that dream was a metaphor. You know you can't really go eat an elephant. Like, why would you say that that's your reason?
Right.
Oh, well, I've been eating this my whole life. Just because you've been in sin your whole life don't mean you have to stay that way.
That's right.
We at the Isupk will show you love by showing you the laws of God and teaching you how to live, because what you are doing is death.
Damn right.
Keep reading.
This is the first commandment.
Right. Of the 10 commandments, that was loving the Most High is definitely the first commandment. Right, and go ahead to the 31.
And the second is like.
Okay.
Namely this: thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
Keep going.
But there is none other commandment greater than these.
There's nothing else written in this law is greater than loving the Most High and loving your brother. Your pastor will tell you that the greatest law is to go ahead and pay them tithes. He won't go into anything else in the Old Testament, anything in the law, but for you to go ahead and pay them tithes. And now, Christ said to love thy neighbor as thyself. See, we're Christians because they've been lied to by the pastor. Leviticus 19, 17 through 18, please. Because they've been lied to by the pastor, they believe that this is a new law. This is something that Christ made up, and that this is just from Jesus himself. And this isn't, the Old Testament. This is the New Testament. But Christ did not speak his own words. He spoke the words of the Most High, as every prophet should, as every man of God should. You should not be speaking your own words. You should be speaking the words of God, because that is life. My words mean nothing. If it doesn't come out of here, it is dust in the wind. It is nothing. It is a vapor. So let's read where Christ got that from.
Leviticus chapter 19, verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart.
Not hate thy who?
Thy brother.
Okay. You should not hate your brother in your heart. Let's continue on with the same thing of hating your brother in your heart. Keep reading.
Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor.
See, let me see who remember. Young man, do you remember what the word rebuke means?
Salaki. To correct.
So, when it's laying out how to love your brother, it's saying that you should correct him. This is how you show that you don't hate your brother in your heart, is by correcting him. A Christian pastor never corrects anybody. They allow you to stay in your sin so you feel that guilt, and so that you keep putting money in the plate. They don't correct you on how to and teach you how to get your life right. They don't correct you according to the laws and the word of God, because they don't believe in the word of God. They don't believe in the laws of God. How many pastors bald head, shaved face? They don't believe in God's laws.
Right.
They hate God, because either you love God or you hate him. There is no in between with him. He doesn't play those games that we play, where I'm kind of iffy. No, he don't play that. You love me or you hate me. You follow my commandments or you hate me. Period. Continue.
And not suffer sin upon him.
This to suffer in this context means to allow. So you will not allow him to be in sin. You are going to correct him. You're going to check him. Why? Because you love him. And you will not let your brother die without you checking him first. You have to do, to show that you love your brother, you would do what you had to do to save his life. And to get you to not sin, to get you in the, what we call good graces of the Most High, you have to not sin. You have to be corrected when you're wrong. Because, let's be honest here, we don't all have it together all the way just yet.
Right.
A lot of us still need correction. A lot of us still need to be instructed on the laws. And we need to be instructed on when we're going off, because we've been in a captivity and we've been in a situation where God's laws have been flipped on their head. We think that it's a good thing to have a self-preservation instinct. That is against God's law. That you are worried about yourself and your immediate family, and you're not worried about your brother down the street. That self-preservation leads to gang violence. I need to eat, I'm gonna take from you. we've been taught the exact opposite of what the Most High wants us to do and how He wants us to be. So we need to be able to find a way back, and on finding that way back, we need to be corrected on our behaviors that are still worldly, are still the old man. Because as even Paul said, he dies daily. That old man has to die daily. It's not going to just be easy. It's not going to be just everything's going to fall off all at one time. That's not a thing. This is a battle. This is work. You have to fight your demons every day. Every single day you wake up, you got to fight your demons. And in here is the only place you're going to learn how to fight your demons. Let's see, we done with that one? Go ahead. Yeah, keep reading.
Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people.
Keep going.
But thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
Mm-hmm.
I am the Lord.
This is a law from God. Like I was just saying about the self-preservation, you are to love your brother. You are to love every black, Hispanic, and Native American man just as you love yourself. This is a commandment from God. This is not something I'm saying. This written thousands of years before I was even, before I was even on this earth.
Right.
This is how we learn to love our brothers, by correcting our brothers and correcting ourselves. And only in here will you learn how to do that. And pull up that last article I sent. And maybe you think, okay, that just means I need to be an Israelite, but I don't have to necessarily be in the ISUPK. Even those fake Israelite groups, they don't know love. They don't know brotherhood. In fact, if they knew brotherhood, they'd be in here. Because they're not in here because of a lack of brotherhood. Because of lack of understanding what brotherhood is. You got it? See, a lot of these groups, instead of staying here and helping their brothers and sisters who they know got a problem and who they see every day, they want to run off to Africa. They want to go get some Hamites and save some nasty, disgusting Hamites. Now, you may think I'm wrong or about saying these Hamites are nasty and disgusting, but let's see the people these so-called Israelites who believe they in the truth. Let's see who they going over to save.
Right.
Go ahead.
Courting but naked.
Courting who?
But naked.
Keep reading.
IUIC. Israel United in Christ attempts to recruit former cannibal and leader of a Liberian child army.
So this is one of the largest fake Israelite groups, and I had to double check just to make sure I had everything right. And on their page, they got pictures of their bishops, saluting with the man.
Right.
And they got 2-3 hour long videos interviewing this man and telling this dirty African that he is their brother.
Right.
Keep reading.
Israel United in Christ, a black Hebrew Israelite group based in the Bronx, New York, thinks white people are the devil, Jews are fake Jews, and members of the LGBT community are sinners, but
go ahead.
But has no qualms about recruiting a cannibal who led a child army and regularly performed human sacrifices.
This is what happens when you are in these fake Israelite groups. You want to know where your money go? It goes to General Butt Naked.
That's right.
Over in Liberia, who was a cannibal and got his own little boys running around shooting people as soldiers and sacrifices children. Excuse me, people.
Right.
It wasn't just children he was sacrificing. He was sacrificing people. Keep going.
This was made clear when the group took a recent trip to Liberia, where they proselytized to a man known as General Butt Naked in an attempt to make him a member.
This so-called Israelite organization is recruiting General Butt Naked to become a member. Not just, teaching the truth. No, proselytize means to try to convert, basically. It's trying to convert. A cannibal Hamite into a member in their organization. And you wonder why girls come up missing from over there.
Right.
Israelites should not be anywhere besides the ISUPK.
That's right.
This is the only place for you. This is where you come to learn how to love your brother and your brothers alone. See, they have no problem saying that the white man is the devil, but they will go over and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. Have you ever seen that video? When they advertising them paying money to go overseas, and they got the song playing.
I only seen IUIC videos before I joined the ISUPK. But after I joined, it was a wrap. I was gonna say, same here. But before I joined, they had already started the African tour, and they on the beginning of their video they would have a purple song playing with IUIC written on the side of it, because that's what they were raising their money. They were raising money to get the bishops around the world to go teach these Africans that y'all are our people. If you are not in the ISUPK and you claim to teach the word of God, you are a liar. Period. You don't speak for the Most High. The Most High has no dealing with you because you are teaching against his people. First John 2:7. Yeah, let's start at 7. Because it's something that we must understand. That it's very simple, and for some reason, our people have a hard time understanding this. You need to come into the school so we can teach you how to love your brother. And loving your brother isn't what the Christian church has taught you. Because the way you show your brother you love him is by teaching him the laws of God. And when he's off, you got to check that brother. Damn right.
Because as a man, that's what we understand. We don't react to soft talk. We'll let that go. You need to be checked. You need to be told what you're doing wrong so that you can correct it. It's not because anybody in here hates you or has a problem with you or dislikes you at all. No, they love you. And to say, somebody put it, I heard it put this way one time. Now, if there's a bus coming for you, right, and you don't see it, but I do, and I yank you hard enough and pull your arm out of the socket, but you don't get hit by the bus, yeah, that might have hurt a little bit, but your life has been saved because I didn't take it easy on you.
Right.
Had I tugged lightly, you wouldn't have moved. Had I just barely touched you, you wouldn't have went anywhere. I had to yank you hard enough to where you had no choice but to move. And that is how we have to be in, and that is how we are in here.
That's right.
Because nowhere else will do that for the black man, the Hispanic man, the Native American man. No one will check him the way we will check him for his good. Now, yeah, they'll try to check you and punk you in the world all day and all night, but it's to hurt you out there because they're not actually giving you God's laws. They're not showing you the love of God. In here, that is exactly what we do. Go ahead. Go ahead.
1 John chapter 2 verse 7. Brethren, I write no new commandment unto you.
This isn't a new commandment. This is something. This isn't something brand new. This isn't something that this is John. This epistle of John. John is saying, I'm not making this up. This isn't something new. I'm telling you. Go ahead.
But an old commandment,
right,
which he had from the beginning.
The Most High gave us this commandment multiple times in the law. This is not. And this is why I say that the Christian pastor doesn't believe in any of this Bible, because this is the New Testament, pretty much as New Testament as you can get. This is what 3-4 books from the end of the New Testament. This is almost as far as you can go, but he's still telling you, hey, we going back. This message is coming from the beginning. This is not new. We have no new commandment. You've heard this from the beginning. Go ahead.
The old commandment is the word which ye have heard from the beginning.
It's the word. The word of God is his laws. See, the Christian pastor would say, oh, he spoke to God, or he got a word from God. The word from God is called the law. It is in the first 5 books of this Bible, and the Most High, tells you everything you need to understand in those first 5 books. The rest of the Bible is further explaining more and more on the first 5 books. The law stands, period, forever. God's law is unchanging, just as he is unchanging. Keep going.
The old commandment is the word which ye have heard from the beginning. Again, a new commandment I write unto you, which thing is true in him and in you.
Right.
Because the darkness is past, and the true light now shineth.
This is more so referring to the old man. This is how anybody who comes into the truth, everything in your past is darkness. Everything in your past lacks the light of the Most High, lacks the light of Christ. So your past is darkness. Keep going.
He that said he is in the light and hated his brother,
go ahead,
is in darkness even until now.
You cannot say that you are in light. You cannot say that you have love or you are a representative, an emissary, an ambassador for Christ. You cannot say these things if you do not love your brother. Keep going.
He that loveth his brother abideth in the light. And there is none occasion of stumbling in him.
There is, if you love your brother, you're not going to, first off, loving your brother not only builds him up and removes stumbling blocks out of his way, loving your brother and teaching your brother is a benefit to the one who teaches you, is a benefit to the one who is helping you remove those stumbling blocks. Because teaching you the word of the Most High, it also, when I read this, some of the scriptures, they correct me. I'm still learning, I'm not all the way there, and this builds me up. It doesn't give, loving my brother removes a want or a desire for me to go off, because I love you enough to where I gotta be a good example for him. I can't be the reason he fell. They was watching me. So now my mistakes become their mistakes because they were following me. So it builds you up as a person. It makes you stand up straight. It makes you correct yourself even more. So don't, and to any, especially young man or a young trooper in the truth, don't get offended or hurt if you get checked. Don't you know every man above you has been checked? Clearly, obviously, this is before I was ever in the truth. General behind has been checked. I don't, I didn't see when he came in, but that man has been checked in his life, in the truth. And if he took it, and if he became the man he is today, from the point where he was getting checked, why can't you? You can take it and keep going. You can take it and become better. And as the general say, they don't train men to be like the Christian church trains men to keep paying into their tithes, keep paying into their offerings in their pockets. The commanding general Yohana, General Muhammad, all the generals in the UPK, they're training men to take their place. They're training men to be better than they are. And that's brotherhood. I'm not setting you up for you to be paying my bills for the rest of your life. That's not what this is about. I'm looking as my generals are. I hope one day to be better than them, and I hope to raise men better than me. That's the point of brotherhood, to better our nation, because it ain't about us. It ain't about you individually. It's about the nation. That is what brotherhood is. Brotherhood is looking at your brother and loving him more than you love your own life. As Christ said, to the point where you would lay down your life for your brother. Was that all that? What did you say about that one? All right.
It's like a couple of precepts.
Go right ahead.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 37, verse 12. But be continually with a godly man, who thou knowest to keep the commandments of the Lord, whose mind is according to thy mind, and will sorrow with thee if thou shalt miscarry.
You want to break them down?
Basically, like you said,